If your car is rental, then we're over. I don't waste my time with broke men. She mocked before realizing it wasn't rented. So I locked my car doors, drove off, and left her stranded. She didn't expect I owned her building. Hey Reddit. So, this all started because a girl I was dating for 2 months asked if my car was a rental and said she wouldn't waste her time with someone who drives one. I didn't argue. I just got in my Hellcat, locked the doors, and left her standing there. What followed was a chain of events involving 21 missed calls, a rent discount I revoked, a public meltdown, and a meme that I still get tagged in. It's been months now, and honestly, peace has never sounded better. I'm not the kind of guy who flexes. I work hard, mind my business, and enjoy the stuff I earn. A few weeks ago, I finally bought something I'd been wanting for years. A Dodge Hellcat. It wasn't some impulse buy or midlife crisis thing. I'd saved for it. The car's loud, powerful, and mine. Not leased, not borrowed, not a weekend toy, just mine. When Adam, 30 male, started seeing Erica, 27 female, I didn't even mention it. We'd been dating for about 2 months, and she'd only ever seen my old car. I figured she didn't need to know about the car, not because I was hiding it, but because I already noticed how much she cared about appearances. She was beautiful, smart, and could turn on the charm when she wanted. But she also had this subtle way of grading everyone she met. The waiter wasn't refined. Her coworker's husband looked broke. Little comments that made you wonder what she'd say about you when you weren't around. That night, we met for dinner at a nice restaurant downtown, the kind of place where they park your car for you and sprinkle herbs on your water or whatever. Dinner went fine. Basic conversation, a few laughs, nothing wild. She talked about her dream to become a rich stay-at-home wife where she only spends money. Half joking, but not really. I just smiled and let her talk. Then came the moment that ended it all. We stepped outside after dinner, and I handed the valet ticket to the guy. A few seconds later, the Hellcat roared up to the curb. You could feel the heads turning. Erica's face changed instantly. Not in a wow way, more like she'd just seen someone show up in a clown car. She tilted her head and went, "Wait, that's your car?" "Yeah," I said, unlocking it. "Bought it last month." She gave me this fake laugh. "You're kidding, right? That thing looks like something a college kid would rent for attention." I just stared at her for a second. "It's mine." She blinked, unimpressed. "Oh, well, I just assumed it was a rental. I mean, who actually buys one of those? It's so loud. Kind of embarrassing, honestly. I don't ride in rentals. People stare." She said it like she was allergic to humility. People walking by could totally hear her. I didn't yell. I didn't argue. I just looked at her and said, calm as anything. "Good thing you're not riding in it then." I opened the door, sat down, started the engine, and shut the door. She blinked, half laughing, half confused. "Wait, what?" she said, walking up to the door. "You're joking, right?" "Adam, seriously?" "Nope, I wasn't." When she realized I wasn't unlocking it, she lost it. She started banging on the passenger door, yelling through the window. "You're being ridiculous. Don't make a scene." The irony almost made me laugh. She was the scene. People outside the restaurant turned to watch. Some looked confused, others amused. I saw a couple whispering, trying not to laugh. Erica's face turned red as she realized people were staring. "Adam, open the door right now. Stop acting immature," she yelled, her voice cracking. I didn't even look at her. I just shifted into drive, gave her one last calm look, and said through the glass, "Have a good night, Erica." Then I rolled out of there, the engine growling loud enough to drown out whatever she screamed next. I caught a glimpse of her in my rearview mirror, standing on the sidewalk in heels, arms waving, trying to keep her balance. A couple of guys from the valet stand were watching, one of them laughing into his sleeve. Her meltdown was full-on public now. She stomped her heel, shouted something, and threw her hands up like I'd ruined her reputation. I didn't feel guilty. I felt done. The drive home was quiet. Not peaceful exactly, just still. That kind of stillness you get after you walk out of a bad movie halfway through and realize you didn't have to sit there suffering. When I parked, I sat there for a minute, staring at my reflection in the windshield, half expecting my phone to buzz. And right on cue, it lit up. What the hell is wrong with you? Are you seriously ditching me downtown? You can't just leave someone like that, you psycho. By the time I got inside and changed, she'd called twice. By midnight, it was 5 times. Then 10. I just turned my phone face down and went to bed. No arguing, no explaining. Sometimes silence says more than 1,000 texts ever could. By the time I rolled out of bed the next morning, my phone looked like a Christmas tree on fire. 21 missed calls, a dozen voicemails, and more messages than I cared to scroll through. The first few were angry, full of, "I can't believe you do that to me, and you embarrassed me." Then they turned confused. "Are you okay? And did something happen?" By the end, she'd hit full desperation. "I didn't mean what I said. Let's talk. I'm not like that. Please answer." I stared at the screen for a second, then flipped it over and let it buzz itself into silence. I didn't even think about her much. I just felt lighter. But as the day went on, the calls started replaying in my head, not because I missed her, but because I was finally letting myself see what I'd been ignoring. Erica wasn't just picky. She was judgmental to the bone. I remembered our first date. She showed up in this glittery dress, looked me up and down, and said, "You clean up nice." I was worried you'd show up in something basic. I laughed it off then, thought it was banter, but it never stopped. She had comments for everyone, like she was grading life itself. One night, we went to this burger spot I loved. It's not fancy, but it's good food. Solid people. The waiter brought our drinks, and I saw her eyes immediately lock onto his wrist. He had one of those worn leather strap watches, the kind that clearly meant something to him. She leaned toward me and whispered, "You'd think people in customer service would at least try to look successful." I almost choked on my fries. "You realize you just insulted the guy making our food, right?" I said. She laughed. "Oh, come on, I'm just saying. Presentation matters." That wasn't the only time. A week later, we carpooled to a group hangout, and one of my buddies, Jason, pulled up in his old Corolla. She rolled her eyes so hard I thought she was going to sprain something. "That's what he drives?" she muttered. "You'd think a grown man could afford something that doesn't sound like a lawnmower." I told her to cut it out. "You realize you're riding in my car right now? Your car dies every other day," I said with a grin. She didn't even catch the sarcasm. Then there was the coworker story. Erica worked at some marketing firm, barely scraping middle management, but she acted like she owned the place. One night, she came over and spent 30 minutes ranting about how trashy her coworker looked because she wore a discount handbag. I remember asking what discount even meant to her. She said, like not designer, not luxury, just regular. I asked, "You know that coworker probably makes more than you, right?" She didn't like that. Her smile froze for a second, then she tilted her head, trying to change the subject. "You're different," she said softly. "You don't get it. You wouldn't understand how it feels to want more." That one stuck with me. Because the truth is, I do understand what wanting more feels like. My family started at the bottom. My great-grandparents were farmers, dirt under the nails, sun-up to sundown kind of people. They worked until they could buy their land, then built from there. My grandfather expanded, started renting small plots, saved every penny. My dad turned that into a property business. We didn't inherit luxury, we built stability. So when Erica mocked people for not looking rich enough, it didn't just sound shallow. It sounded like an insult to my family's entire history. That was the part that pissed me off the most. She wasn't rich. She was renting an apartment she could barely afford, and somehow thought she had the right to judge everyone else. It was like watching someone act like royalty while still living off borrowed crowns. By noon, I'd made up my mind to delete every trace of her from my phone. The texts, the calls, the pictures, all gone. I wasn't going to play the maybe she'll change game. She'd shown exactly who she was, loud and clear. Work was uneventful, but my mind felt sharper. No background noise, no second guessing, just quiet focus. Every so often, my phone would buzz again, but I stopped looking. The peace was worth more than the drama. Around lunch, my sister Lauren called. She's the kind of person who can tell when something's off just from how you breathe. "You sound weird," she said. "Define weird." "Like you finally realized she's a walking red flag." I laughed. "You're late to the party," she snorted. "Told you so. Mom's been betting you'd dump her before Halloween." "Tell Mom to pay up early," I said. After work, I went for a drive. Not anywhere special, just around town with the windows down. The Hellcat's engine growled low, smooth. Every stoplight reflection looked better than the last. It felt like the kind of quiet victory no one claps for but you. That night, I made dinner, scrolled through a few messages from friends, and ignored one more "please call me" text from Erica. I didn't feel tempted. If anything, I felt curious why I'd put up with her so long. Before going to bed, I sat on the couch for a minute, phone in hand, looking at the long list of missed calls and thinking, this is what happens when you confuse someone's patience for weakness. For the first time in weeks, I went to sleep early. No guilt, no second thoughts. Just that quiet, steady kind of relief that hits when you finally close a door you should have never opened. But the thing about peace is that it makes you see the mess you still haven't cleaned up. And in my case, that mess had a name: Erica's rent deal. A month before all this, she'd been on her usual rant about how unfair the world was to people like her. We were sitting at a cafe and she was going off about housing prices, saying stuff like, "Everything nice is meant for rich people. I can't live in some depressing shoebox. I hate capitalism." She said it loud enough that people at the next table turned their heads. I remember sipping my coffee, trying not to roll my eyes. "You're acting like rent prices are a personal attack," I said. "They are," she snapped. "I work hard. I deserve something decent." I didn't say what I was thinking, that her idea of working hard was posting about her job more than actually doing it. Instead, I tried to be helpful. My family owns a small 6-unit building downtown, just one of the places we still hold from my grandfather's old portfolio. Nothing fancy. He bought it decades ago, and now an old friend of his, Mr. Callahan, manages it for us. So, I told her, I might be able to get you a place. 1 bedroom, nice view, safe area. Her eyes lit up immediately. For real? How much? When I mentioned the price, she made a face like I'd just told her she had to live in a cave. That's crazy. I can't pay that. I didn't owe her anything, but I made a call anyway. Mr. Callahan had known me since I was 10, the type of guy who still called me kiddo, even though I'm 30. I explained the situation and asked if there was any wiggle room. He sighed and said, "For you? Maybe I can shave off a few hundred, but just this once." So Erica ended up getting $400 off market rent. Just a quiet favor we noted in her lease as a temporary courtesy discount. I told her it was conditional, no bragging, no complaining, no drama. She promised she'd never make me regret it. That was before she started bragging about how she scored a deal, because the owners liked her. Fast forward to now, and that same favor felt like a rock in my shoe. Every time I thought about it, it annoyed me. I didn't do favors for ungrateful people, and Erica had burned through that credit. So, after work, I picked up my phone and called Mr. Callahan. He answered on the second ring. "This better not be about plumbing again," he grumbled. I could hear the sound of a radio talk show in the background. "Not this time," I said, smiling. "Hey, Mr. C, it's Adam." "Oh, hey, kiddo. What's up? You sound serious?" "I need to talk to you about one of the tenants. Erica Marsh, Unit 3B. He chuckled dryly. "That your girl? The one who thinks she's renting a penthouse?" "Was my girl," I corrected. "We're done, and so is the discount." For a second, all I heard was the static from his radio. Then he laughed. That deep smoker's laugh that always sounded half amused, half disappointed. "Knew it wouldn't last. She's been a headache since day one. Always some complaint. Water pressure, sunlight, imaginary noise upstairs. You name it." "Yeah, sounds like her," I said. "So, can you take her back to full rent?" "Easily," he replied. "Her lease has that clause you told me to include for discount reversals. 30 days notice, effective next cycle. I'll write it up today." "Perfect," I said. He paused before hanging up. "You doing okay, kiddo? You sound calmer than usual." "I'm fine," I said. "Just fixing mistakes I should have avoided." He grunted approvingly. "That's how men handle things. Clean up and move on. I'll post the notice today. Rent goes up next month. Thanks, Mr. C, I owe you." "Nah," he said. "You already paid me back when you didn't date my granddaughter." Then he laughed and hung up. By the time I got off the phone, I felt a weird kind of satisfaction. Not anger, not revenge, just cleanup. Like tying up a loose wire before it shocks someone. Around 7 p.m., my phone buzzed. Erica. I ignored it. Then the notifications started stacking. Text after text. "Did you seriously just raise my rent? Are you kidding me? You're so petty. I can't afford that right now. You're doing this on purpose. You're not even a real landlord, you loser." I scrolled once, sighed, and put the phone down. Then came the voicemail. Her voice was shrill, emotional, like a bad reality show. "You think this is funny? You're trying to ruin my life over a stupid argument? You're pathetic, Adam. Pathetic." Then, in the same breath, she tried switching tones. "You're making a huge mistake. We could have worked it out." I let the voicemail play out, deleted it, and went back to my dinner like nothing happened. Outside my window, the night felt still. The Hellcat was parked neatly in its spot, the air cool and quiet. For the first time since this whole thing started, I felt something close to peace. Not the dramatic kind, not the movie ending kind, just quiet. No calls, no chaos, no fake apologies. Just me, my dinner, and the sound of someone finally learning what happens when they mistake kindness for weakness. That peace lasted about 3 days. Then, on a Wednesday morning, my phone buzzed with a text from Ryan, a guy in our mutual friend group. "Bro, what happened with you and Erica? She's going off in the group chat." I sighed before even opening the next message. She said you ditched her in some sketchy neighborhood at night and you're messing with her landlord now? Of course. I sat back, staring at the text like I was reading a bad movie script. Erica wasn't content with just losing. She had to rewrite the story, so she came out looking like the victim. I typed back, tell her the sketchy neighborhood was outside a $100 a plate restaurant, and the only thing scary there was her attitude. Ryan sent a laughing emoji, then added, she's saying you're harassing her. Something about rent? I could practically hear the smug tone Erica must have used. She always needed an audience. She's paying what everyone else pays, I wrote. I just ended her discount. That's not harassment. That's adulthood. There was a pause. Then Ryan asked, you serious about that? You really raised it? Yeah, I said. She got a $400 break because I was nice. Now she gets the normal rate. She should be thanking me for teaching her about reality. He didn't reply for a while, so I knew he was reading the group chat. When his next message came, it was just, man, she's saying you were yelling at her and threatening her before you drove off. That's when I actually laughed. I wasn't even mad, just impressed by how quickly she could invent stories. You want proof? I texted. Proof? Give me 5 minutes. I went to my dashcam app. I keep it running because I drive fast cars, and you never know what kind of idiot might pull out in front of you. Sure enough, the footage from that night was still there. Erica pounding on the passenger door, screaming, open this car right now, while a couple of people in the background stared and whispered. The cabin mic picked her up fine. She was loud enough to cut through the glass. The audio even caught her shouting, you're embarrassing yourself, while she was the one slapping my window like it owed her money. I trimmed the clip to about 40 seconds and sent it to Ryan. There's your sketchy neighborhood. He opened it instantly. 30 seconds later, he replied, holy crap. Dude, I can't even... She's insane. Yeah, I wrote back. But at least now it's not my problem. He sent another text a few minutes later. The chat's going wild. Someone posted a meme already. They called her Hellcat Girl. I almost dropped my phone laughing. Apparently someone cropped a screenshot of Erica's red, furious face against my car door and slapped a caption over it that said, when your ride leaves before your ego does. From there, it snowballed. Every time someone in the group made a dramatic comment or overreacted, someone else would drop a Hellcat emoji or type, don't go full Hellcat girl. It spread fast. Erica had officially turned into content. Meanwhile, I didn't even have to say anything. The truth handled itself. That evening, Tara, another mutual friend, texted me privately. Hey, just so you know, Erica is spinning the story in the group chat. She's saying you're unstable and have anger issues. People are half believing her. I replied, I've got receipts. Tara sent a side-eye emoji. Of course you do. I scrolled through my phone and found the perfect thing. The 21 missed calls from her that night, all lined up like a desperation timeline. I took a clean screenshot and sent it to Tara. Mind adding me to the chat for a second? She hesitated. You're really gonna go in there? Just for a minute. 2 minutes later, I was added. The chat was mid-drama. Erica typing paragraphs about how Adam abandoned me and then weaponized his landlord. I waited for a pause. Then I dropped the screenshot. No caption, no context, just the image. 21 missed calls in a row, timestamps between 12:08 a.m. and 7:45 a.m. The typing bubbles vanished. Nothing for about 2 full minutes. Then Max, one of the quieter guys, broke the silence. 21 calls, though? Then Ryan chimed in. Doesn't look like someone who was scared. Looks like someone who got caught. Erica started typing again, fast this time. The dots flickered for a good 30 seconds before her next message appeared. I was worried about him. He was acting strange, and I thought maybe he'd gotten in an accident. Tara replied before I could. After screaming at him in public? Sure. A few others reacted with laughing emojis. Someone even reposted the Hellcat Girl meme under her message. The whole thing unraveled fast. Erica sent one last desperate line. You're all misunderstanding what happened, and then went silent. That was my cue. Believe what you want, I typed. I'm not here to argue. Then I left the chat. 10 minutes later, Tara texted privately, that was perfect. You didn't even have to say a word. I just sent back, truth sells itself. And as far as I was concerned, Erica had officially reached her last frame. For a couple of weeks, things were quiet. She faded from our circle after the Hellcat Girl fiasco. And honestly, I figured that was the last time her name would ever come up in my life. I was wrong, but not in the way I expected. It started with a call from my sister Lauren. Hey, you busy? She asked. Not really, I said. What's up? Her tone was clipped. the kind of voice she used when she was trying not to lose her temper. You remember that bracelet I let Erica borrow for that charity event a while back? I frowned, trying to remember. What bracelet? My Swarovski one, she said. The silver one with the crystal chain. You complimented it once, said it looked expensive. Yeah, vaguely. Why? She never gave it back, Lauren said flatly. I texted her twice. No reply. I sighed, already feeling the headache forming. You sure she didn't forget? I don't think forgetting includes posting a photo wearing it last weekend, Lauren said. That made me pause. Wait, what? She uploaded a brunch picture with some of her influencer wannabe friends, Lauren continued. She's sitting there, hand on her mimosa, bracelet front and center. Same exact one. I zoomed in and compared it to my photos. It's mine. I walked to my desk and opened my laptop. Lauren sent the screenshot. Sure enough, there it was. Erica, smiling with her usual over-filtered face, flashing the bracelet like it was hers. She's bold. I'll give her that, I said. Bold? Lauren snapped. She's a thief. That thing cost me $600, and it was a gift from Mom. I rubbed my forehead. All right, calm down. I'll text her. Be polite, Lauren warned, but her voice was tight. For now. So I pulled up Erica's number, the one I hadn't touched since her meltdown, and sent a message. Hey, Erica. My sister said you still have her Swarovski bracelet. Mind letting me know when she can pick it up? It took her about 20 minutes to respond. Oh, that old thing? I think I misplaced it. Tell her I'll look for it this weekend. I almost laughed. Misplaced it, but somehow remembered what it was instantly. Yeah, sure. I texted back, you posted a photo wearing it on Sunday. 10 minutes later, she replied, that's not hers, Adam. Mine just looks similar. She really went with that. I forwarded the messages to Lauren, who immediately called me back. Oh, she's lying to the wrong people, she said. I could practically hear her grabbing car keys. We're not asking again. We're going over there. Lauren. No, she's not walking away with it. She took advantage of you. She's not doing it to me. My sister was calm under normal circumstances, but when she got protective, she turned into a lawyer, a detective, and a storm all rolled into one. She spent the next hour gathering everything, the receipt, a photo of her wearing the bracelet before lending it out, and the appraisal document from the jeweler. She even printed the Instagram post where Erica was wearing it. I'm bringing a folder, she said when she picked me up. If she lies, I'm shoving this proof in her face. Remind me to never borrow anything from you, I muttered, as I got in the passenger seat. Lauren smirked. You wouldn't lie about it. The drive over was tense but quiet. My sister was gripping the steering wheel like it owed her money. I can't believe she still posts selfies like nothing happened, Lauren said. After everything, she still thinks she's untouchable. That's her thing, I said. Delusion is her love language. When we pulled up outside Erica's apartment building, my family's building, I couldn't help but notice her parking spot was empty. She's home, I said. Mr. Callahan told me her car's been broken down for a week. Perfect, Lauren said, grabbing the folder. Let's do this. As we walked up to the door, I felt this mix of irritation and disbelief. I'd given Erica every chance to walk away from the wreck she caused, but she just couldn't stop herself. We reached the lobby and pressed her buzzer. After a moment, her voice came through the speaker, tight and suspicious. Who's there? It's Adam, I said evenly. And my sister, Lauren. We need to talk. There was silence for a few seconds before she said, About what? The bracelet, Lauren said, her voice cutting clean through the static. We know you still have it. I told you, Erica replied, trying to sound tired and innocent. I lost it weeks ago. I'll replace it when I can. Lauren wasn't buying it. Then why are you wearing it in your post from Sunday? That got her. I heard a faint gasp through the speaker. That's not hers, she stammered. You're mistaken. Lauren raised an eyebrow at me, then leaned closer to the intercom. You can either hand it over quietly, or we can talk about it with the property manager. That was a name Erica didn't want to hear. She'd tried sweet-talking Mr. Callahan before and got nowhere. There was a long pause, then a quiet beep, the sound of the door unlocking. Lauren smirked. Told you she'd let us in. We took the elevator up. Erica's door was already cracked open when we reached it. She stood there, arms crossed like she was the victim again. What do you want now? She said, voice sharp. The bracelet, Lauren said simply. Erica sighed, rolling her eyes. I said I don't have it. Lauren held up her phone, the screenshot glowing on the screen. Erica at brunch, hand on the glass, bracelet shining under the light. This photo was posted 4 days ago, Lauren said. Don't insult both our IQs. Erica's face twitched, the fake confidence cracking. Lauren didn't blink. Go get it! For a second, Erica looked like she was going to argue. Then she huffed, turned around, and disappeared inside. Lauren and I waited. 30 seconds later, Erica came back, tossed the bracelet onto the counter like it was nothing, and muttered, There, happy? Lauren picked it up, checked it, and smiled. Ecstatic. We didn't say another word. We just left. As the elevator doors closed, Lauren finally exhaled. She's lucky I'm civilized. I smirked. Barely. This time, she didn't just lose the argument. She lost her last ounce of credibility. Lauren and I didn't even talk much on the drive home that night. Halfway back, she pulled into a diner. We sat in a booth, ordered fries, and just looked at each other for a second before we both bursted laughing. I almost went full courtroom mode on her, Lauren said between bites. You did, I said. If you'd pulled out one more document, she might have confessed to other crimes. She grinned. She folded faster than a clearance rack purse. I laughed at that one. She's got a talent for folding, just not laundry. By the time we left the diner, the tension was gone. We were done talking about Erica, or at least we thought we were. The next morning, I was making coffee when my phone buzzed. Mr. Callahan. Morning, kiddo, he said. Guess who's been trying to lawyer up? I smirked. Let me guess. 3B? Bingo. She's claiming the rent increase was retaliation. I almost spit out my coffee. Retaliation for what? Being herself? Beats me, he said. She sent a long email about unfair treatment and emotional distress. I replied with Section 4B of her lease. You know, the one she signed. Please tell me you added your signature sarcasm. I told her the only retaliation happening was her own reflection in the mirror. I laughed. You're a treasure, Mr. C. Damn right I am, he said. Anyway, she demanded to speak to the real owners. I told her she already did. Twice. That one got me. And what did she say? She hung up. Over the next couple of weeks, the fallout hit her hard. Mr. Callahan kept me updated, sometimes because it was business, sometimes because it was comedy. First, she tried to file a complaint with the city's tenant board, but it got thrown out in days. Her lease was airtight. Then, she posted a rant on her social media, whining about toxic men abusing power and landlords targeting women. Her post got 3 likes, one from a spam account. Then came the final blow. She missed rent. Mr. Callahan gave her the legal grace period, but by the next week, she'd already told him she was moving out by choice. Choice, I repeated when he told me. She's running out of them, he chuckled. She was month to month, so once she gave notice, the clock started fast. Mr. Callahan didn't waste time. She'd be gone by Friday. New couple moving in Saturday. They're actually happy to pay the full rate. Imagine that. That Friday afternoon, curiosity got the better of me. I drove by the building, slow and discreet. The scene was poetic. Erica stood on the curb, surrounded by half-filled boxes and 2 suitcases. She looked nothing like the version of herself that used to walk into restaurants like she was auditioning for royalty. She kept glancing around, trying to pretend she wasn't struggling to shove a box into the back of a rideshare van. Later, Mr. Callahan texted me, She's officially gone. Left the keys in the mailbox. You're free. I replied, Good riddance. Hope she enjoys her new kingdom. He sent back a photo of the empty apartment with a thumbs-up emoji. A week later, I found out where she'd moved. Small world. Ryan mentioned it offhand. Bro, you won't believe it, he said over the phone. Erica's living in one of those old rundown places by the highway. My buddy's cousin stays in the same building. Said her new apartment smells like mold and despair. I couldn't stop laughing. So she finally got her wish? A decent place. Yeah, Ryan said. The same kind she used to roast people for. Poetic irony doesn't need applause. 2 days later, I ran into her. Total accident. I was leaving a grocery store, arms full of bags, when I saw her walking up the sidewalk. I almost didn't recognize her. Plain hoodie, cheap sneakers, hair tied up in a rush. But when her eyes met mine, her face twisted instantly. She froze, then stomped toward me. You! She hissed. You ruined my life. I set the bags down slowly. Morning to you too. Don't act innocent, she snapped. You raised my rent, turned everyone against me, made me a joke. I gave a half smile. Nah, you did that. I just stopped cleaning up after it. You don't understand, she said, voice shaking. I had to move into this disgusting place because of you. It's moldy. The bathroom leaks. I tilted my head. Guess life's teaching you how the other half lives. Her eyes welled up. You're heartless. Heartless? I picked my bags back up. No, just done. She started crying right there, people staring as they passed. You'll regret this, Adam. Karma always comes back. I smiled faintly. Already did, Erica. You're living proof. Then I walked past her and didn't look back. That night, Lauren texted me a photo of her wrist, the bracelet shining under her kitchen light. Look who's back home, she wrote. I replied, Hellcat girl moved into a moldy castle. She sent 10 laughing emojis. I didn't need revenge. Watching her crumble under her own lies was more than enough. Some people dig their own holes. You just have to stop handing them the shovel. Life after Erica was quieter than I expected. The days just started to feel normal. No chaos, no half-baked drama, no random explosions of emotion for attention. Just work, gym, grocery runs, dinner at home, late-night drives. It was clean, predictable, and exactly how I liked it. Weeks went by without any sign of Erica, and I didn't go looking. The rent issue was over, the bracelet was back, and her social life had quietly collapsed on its own. The silence wasn't empty. It was full of relief. It was a Saturday afternoon when I saw her again. I'd gone downtown to grab coffee and deposit a check. Nothing special, just a quick errand before meeting Ryan later. I was waiting at a red light when I caught a flash of a familiar face across the street. It was Erica. She was sitting in the passenger seat of a shiny BMW, parked in front of a bank. At first, I thought maybe she'd gotten her act together. Then I looked closer. The driver was an older guy, mid-50s, expensive watch, suit that screamed divorced with alimony. His face was red, eyebrows drawn tight while he talked to her through the windshield. She was shaking her head, waving her hand like she was scolding him. He said something short and sharp, then opened his door and slammed it hard enough to make her flinch. He stormed toward the bank, leaving her sitting there, staring straight ahead. For a second, I didn't move. I just watched. She was still wearing that "I'm fine" mask she always used to put on when she was about to fall apart. Her jaw was tight, her hands gripping her phone like she could squeeze control out of it. I could practically hear the old lines running through her head. He's supposed to treat me better. He's supposed to respect me. I deserve more. It was deja vu in 4K. Same behavior, different victim. A horn honked behind me, snapping me out of it. The light turned green. I eased the Hellcat forward and turned down the next street. But curiosity tugged at me, so I looped around the block and parked across from the coffee shop. Through the glass windows, I could still see her in the car. The man was inside, probably withdrawing money or canceling something she thought she had control over. She wasn't crying, just staring, scrolling on her phone like she was trying to distract herself from the fact that she'd repeated the exact same mistake all over again. It wasn't satisfying in a cruel way. It was just confirming. Some people never learn because they don't want to. They just change the scenery and call it growth. I watched for maybe another minute, then finished my coffee, tossed the cup, and headed back to the car. The engine started with that deep rumble I loved, the one she once called embarrassing. Funny how peace can sound like power when you finally understand it. As I pulled out of the parking spot, I saw her again through the windshield, still sitting there, still waiting. The man came back, said something I couldn't hear, and she threw her hands up, shouting. He pointed toward the passenger door, probably telling her to get out. She didn't. For a moment, I thought about rolling down the window, saying something smug, something like, "Still renting your life out, huh?" But honestly, it didn't even feel necessary. She looked stuck, the same expressions, same cycle, same chase for status that always ended with her crying in someone else's car. So, I just smiled to myself, shifted gears, and drove away. People like Erica chase the illusion of wealth, never realizing that control was the real currency. She could fake everything, outfits, smiles, captions, but you can't fake stability. No arguments, no explanations, just silence. The kind that says you're free. YouTube just dropped this new hype feature. If you're hooked on this story, smash that hype button. It tells YouTube this video deserves to blow up, and it keeps even crazier stories coming your way.